In the early 1990s, there weren't many stars brighter than MC Hammer. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a cultural phenomenon. With flashy dance moves, catchy beats, and signature parachute pants, Hammer took the world by storm. His album, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him sold over 10 million copies in the US alone and made him a household name. At the peak of his career, he was worth an estimated $30 million. But just a few years later, Hammer was filing for bankruptcy. The man who once couldn't touch failure was now drowning in debt. So, how does someone go from platinum records to bankruptcy court? It all comes down to one thing: financial mismanagement. Let's go back to the beginning. MC Hammer, born Stanley Kirk Burrell, grew up in Oakland, California. He had dreams of making it big, and when he finally did, it was on a massive scale. He had hit songs, sold out concerts, endorsement deals, and even his own cartoon series. Money was flowing in like a tidal wave. But the problem wasn't how much Hammer was earning, it was how much he was spending. Instead of building wealth, Hammer started burning through it. One of his most infamous financial decisions was his mansion. He purchased a 12-acre property in Fremont, California, and spent millions customizing it. It had 2 swimming pools, a recording studio, a baseball field, a 17-car garage, and a gold-plated gate. In total, Hammer reportedly poured $12 million into the house. That's not a home, that's an empire. And empires are expensive to maintain. But it wasn't just the mansion. Hammer had an entourage of over 200 people on his payroll. Friends, family members, dancers, bodyguards, you name it. Some reports even suggest he had people on staff just to run errands or hang out. At one point, he was paying out nearly $500,000 a month in salaries alone. His generosity was legendary, but it came without a financial filter. He wanted to help everyone around him, but he didn't set boundaries. There was no budgeting, no long-term planning, just spending. On top of that, Hammer was living large. He bought dozens of luxury cars, racehorses, and expensive jewelry. He gave out lavish gifts and donations. In just a few years, he went from a hungry artist chasing his dreams to a megastar bleeding cash. His spending habits didn't match the reality of the music industry, where trends change quickly and success can be short-lived. By the mid-1990s, music tastes had shifted. MC Hammer's popularity started to fade, and so did his income. His albums weren't selling like before, his tours weren't making as much, and endorsement deals started to dry up. But instead of adjusting his lifestyle to match his new financial situation, he kept spending like he was still on top of the world. The money wasn't coming in, but it was definitely going out. In 1996, Hammer filed for bankruptcy. He listed over $13 million in debts and only around $9 million in assets. The IRS, contractors, lawyers, and former employees were all owed money. His mansion was sold in a foreclosure auction. It was a painful fall from grace, and it all came down to financial choices. Choices that, with the right advice and planning, could have been avoided. So what can we learn from MC Hammer's story? First and foremost, budgeting matters, no matter how much you make. When people think of budgeting, they usually associate it with people who are trying to stretch every dollar. But budgeting is even more important for high earners. The more money you have, the more opportunities you have to waste it. Without a plan, even millions can vanish quickly. Hammer didn't have a budget. He didn't track expenses. He didn't plan for taxes, for the future, or for a possible downturn in his career. He spent based on emotion, not logic. That's one of the biggest financial mistakes anyone, celebrity or not, can make. Emotion-driven spending might feel good in the moment, but it's often a setup for long-term pain. Second, your income is not guaranteed, especially in industries like music, sports, or entertainment. Fame is fleeting. MC Hammer was at the top of the world for a few years. He had fame, fortune, and influence, everything most people dream of. But the entertainment industry moves fast, and trends can shift almost overnight. As music tastes evolved and new artists emerged, Hammer's spotlight began to dim. His album sales dropped, concert bookings slowed, and the once steady stream of money started to dry up. But instead of adjusting to this new reality, his lifestyle stayed the same. The spending didn't stop just because the income did. That's where things began to spiral. If Hammer had taken the time to scale back, live below his means, and save aggressively during his peak earning years, he could have built a solid financial foundation. one that would have lasted well beyond the fame. The stage lights might have faded, but his financial future could have remained bright. Third, it's important to say no, especially to friends and family. Hammer hired hundreds of people from his inner circle. He wanted to uplift his community, which is admirable, but without financial structure, it turned into a disaster. Good intentions are great, but they need to be balanced with financial wisdom. You can help others, but you also need to help yourself first. Set limits, create a plan, and don't feel guilty for protecting your financial future. Another key lesson: hire professionals, but the right ones. Financial advisors, accountants, and legal experts are essential for anyone dealing with large sums of money, but they need to be trustworthy and qualified. Surrounding yourself with yes men or people who don't challenge your decisions can be dangerous. MC Hammer didn't seem to have anyone telling him to slow down or think ahead. That kind of unchecked spending is a recipe for disaster. Also, invest your money, don't just spend it. Hammer put millions into things that lost value quickly: cars, jewelry, custom renovations. Had he instead invested in real estate, stocks, or businesses with long-term potential, his story might have turned out differently. Even just putting a chunk of his income into a retirement account or trust could have helped. Instead, the money was going out as fast as it came in. The truth is, MC Hammer isn't alone. His story might be one of the most well-known, but it's far from unique. Many celebrities, athletes, and entertainers have traveled the same road, rising to the top with massive success, only to crash just as hard when the money runs out. Quick fame can bring in millions, but without the right mindset and habits, it can disappear just as quickly. From professional ball players to chart-topping artists, financial ruin has claimed more stars than most people realize. That's exactly why stories like Hammer's are so important. They're not just dramatic headlines or gossip. They're real-life cautionary tales. They serve as powerful reminders that no matter how much money you make, it's not enough unless you know how to manage it. Wealth isn't built on income alone. It's built on planning, discipline, and long-term thinking. Without those pillars, even the biggest fortunes can crumble. But to Hammer's credit, he didn't let bankruptcy define him. A lot of people in his situation would have disappeared from the public eye completely. Instead, he found ways to rebuild. After hitting rock bottom, Hammer shifted gears. He became an ordained preacher and began doing tech-related work in Silicon Valley. Far from the flash of his former life, but grounded and practical. He slowly started regaining control of his finances and found a new sense of purpose. He still performs from time to time and has even spoken publicly about the mistakes he made. In a world where celebrities often try to hide their failures, Hammer's willingness to be open and reflective is rare and worth respecting. It shows growth, it shows humility, and it offers hope to others who might be facing similar challenges, whether they're in the spotlight or not. But even with all that self-awareness and effort to rebuild, the damage had already been done. The mansion was gone. The fortune had disappeared. The lifestyle he once enjoyed was no longer sustainable. And it all happened because there was no solid financial foundation beneath the fame. If you take anything away from this story, let it be this: income doesn't equal wealth. You can make $1 million a year and still go broke if you spend $2 million. Wealth is built through smart decisions, discipline, and planning. It doesn't matter how famous you are, money doesn't last unless you make it last. So whether you're making $50,000 a year or $5 million, the rules are the same. Make a budget, live below your means, save and invest, plan for taxes, plan for the future, and don't try to impress the world. Focus on securing your future. That's how you avoid the fate that so many, including MC Hammer, have suffered. Because if someone with $30 million can go bankrupt, it should be a wake-up call to us all. MC Hammer's story is a reminder. It's not about how much you make, it's about how wisely you manage it. Don't wait until it's too late. Start planning, budgeting, and building your future today. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more financial wisdom, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it.